Okay, so welcome to the video. Today will be a bit different than most of my earlier videos, with basically only a few graphs and me talking. But if you want to find out how to cut out a lot of calories, save money, and also get more out of your training as well as just being more healthy in general, stay with me a few minutes and I'll use myself as an example here, which definitely isn't perfect, but perhaps can be relatable for at least some of you. And if you want more of these type of videos, let me know, give me a like, and I'll try to do my best to continue, especially as these videos take a lot more time to prepare and make, but hopefully can give something back to you as well. Okay, so a lot of people incorporate some sort of alcohol consumption in their weekly or even maybe daily routines, especially during maybe summer, now after the quarantine, or holidays just in general. So perhaps that's like a glass of wine for dinner, a beer, or maybe a whiskey on the weekend, or after a long week of work. And this is definitely not a problem in itself. It can definitely be healthy. But if you have fitness goals that you want to reach and achieve, it can be beneficial at least to understand how this can impact your calorie intake over time, and not to mention the financial and health impact, of course. And also, if you have more than 3 drinks or so, some research indicates that it can affect you up to like 2 to 3 days afterwards. So nowadays I try to avoid more than a few drinks, 2-3 at any given time, both for the calories and also the impact on the training. But as long as you keep track of that over the weeks and months, of course you can be flexible. And my main message is not to just stay away totally from alcohol, because that's probably not an option for most people. And also I did actually a video earlier on how much sort of calories it is in different types of drinks like whiskey and beer and wine and so on, so you can check that out if you want. I'll give a link here below. So I've been tracking my alcohol consumption, which probably is a bit crazy, but anyhow I will use that here. Over the last year, since April actually, because I had to take some antibiotics back in April 2019 and stay away from alcohol obviously a few weeks. And I thought it would be kind of an interesting experiment to see, how much alcohol I actually consumed when I got back, to try to keep that a bit, down basically. So I sorted it by category, like beer, wine, sort of standard drinks, and then started to break it down into calories. And of course, these are just estimates on the picture here. And this year, actually 2020, I have cut this quite drastically, as you can see. And it also coincides with when I started to track calories also for my food for March, and then I really lost 10 kilos in 4 months. So on average, according to this, I consume 1 to 2 drinks per day, and this at first might sound shocking, who drinks that much, but actually the global average is 1.3 beers a day, 40 a month actually. So apparently I'm not that exceptional. And I definitely want to highlight that I do not drink every day or even every week, but rather it's maybe 1 weekend here or there, once a month or twice, and then it's more on those occasions rather than every day, which the average says here. So the main wake-up call for me was actually when I was home for Christmas, 2 to 3 weeks, and I gained almost like 3.5 kilograms. I went up from 14.8% body fat at 77 kilos up to like 16.2% body fat, which doesn't sound much, but then I was at 81 kilos. And then I definitely felt that over 2 weeks, basically gaining almost like 3 to 4 kilos in weight. And when I started looking into the calories, because I was tracking, I realized that during that period I consumed 14,350 calories from alcoholic drinks in December. And 1 kilograms of fat is 7,700 calories. So basically I gained 1.9 kilograms of fat only from those alcoholic drinks out of the 3.5 to 4 kilograms in total weight gain. So basically half of my weight gain was from alcohol, and the rest of course some kind of Christmas food and similar treats, which maybe is okay. So of course holiday occasions are different than just a normal week, but I think it's important, or at least good, to be aware of and mindful of your actual consumption, or at least something to think about. So when I break it down, last year I was consuming 7,593 calories per month on average. So that's actually like 253 calories per day on average, which, you know, if your target is 2,500 calories a day, that's basically 10% of your daily intake. But there's no nutrition at all, like protein or anything in that. It's just like empty calories. So last year was definitely a bit high, and probably higher than, you know, for most people. And then I cut that down. So on current level is basically 1 beer a day on average. But even, you know, talking about beer, that's, you know, essentially the same calories as, you know, a glass of juice or something, which you maybe have for breakfast. So just by cutting that out, you know, I saved basically from last year to this year 4,300 calories a month. So here, as I mentioned, I use alcohol as an example, but just any kind of sugary drinks is basically, you know, similar. And I personally used to drink like, you know, a glass or a few glasses of fruit juice every morning for almost like 30 years. And that's probably like 300 calories a day, if not more, that you don't even realize because it's so easy to drink your calories basically. So 1 week, that can be like 2,000 calories, or maybe like 0.2 to 0.3 kilograms of fat you add every week. You don't even realize if you don't burn it. But I think, you know, the real shocking truth is that if you add all this together during 2019 to 2020, so far in June, I basically consumed 88,000 calories from alcohol. That's almost 11.5 kilograms of fat. And I guess no one wants to face it, but that's, you know, that's what it is when you add everything together. And compared to sort of what my targets are right now, trying to lose only like 1.3 kilograms of fat in a few weeks, which is 10,000 calories, that's almost 9 times as much as you consume, or I consume, without maybe even thinking about it. So if you cut that out, or at least, you know, reduce it maybe like 30% or 50%, you basically don't even have to go on a diet. It's just done by itself. So I'm not saying you have to cut it out completely, but just, you know, good to be aware of. And, you know, if that sounds horrible to look at, then we haven't actually even gotten into the financials here. And of course, this completely depends on where you live, you know, what country, you know, if you drink at home or out or so on. But here, just to kind of prove my point, I put in like a small beer, you know, drinking out $4 US, you know, might sound high, but I'm just using it here. A big beer, $6 US, you know, a drink like in a bar or something, gin tonic, you know, $9 US, and $7 for wine. So that actually adds up to almost like $3,300 US during this like 1.5 year. And sure, it can be, you know, cheaper if you doubt. Maybe you can cut it in half or to a third. But still, even if it's only like $1,000 a year, that's basically like a plane ticket, you know, a trip somewhere. Which, you know, maybe you want more than just that, you know, drink every day, or, you know, a few every week. So hopefully this video is giving you some perspective on the calorie side of alcohol, as well as the potential financial aspect, you know, not to mention the health aspect. And these are just estimates, and of course, if you consume lighter alcohol, or, you know, a non-alcoholic alternative, that's probably, you know, better, less calories, or if you buy them in the grocery store. But just could be good to know the calories and health aspects and financial of this, so you can, you know, make more informed decisions in your life. So that's why I wanted to share these reflections on this topic. So let me know if this was news to you or not, or if you have questions, or if you want to know more about this. And if you learned something, you know, give me a like, subscribe, and see you in the next video.